Have you ever encountered a locomotive so unique that only a single example was ever built? Or a machine so iconic that its name still echoes through history as the fastest steam engine to ever blaze down the tracks? Across the ages, certain steam locomotives have transcended their role as mere transportation. They became monuments to human ambition, products of daring engineering, crafted in an era when every rivet, every spark, and every cloud of steam represented the frontier of progress. Some of these steel titans were rescued by enthusiasts, preserved like priceless artifacts. Others remain only in old photos, aging diagrams, or the stories passed down by those who witnessed their glory. Yet they all share one defining trait: they are truly one of a kind. Today, you're about to explore the 12 rarest and most extraordinary steam locomotives ever created. And trust me, the final locomotive on this list will leave you speechless. GWR 4073 Castle Class. Introduced in 1923 by the Great Western Railway, the GWR 4073 Castle Class arrived during a time when Britain needed faster, more capable express locomotives to connect its major cities. Designed by the renowned engineer Charles Collett, these engines quickly earned a reputation for combining raw strength with refined engineering. Their four-cylinder layout, with compound steam expansion, paired with a high-pressure boiler producing more than 3,000 horsepower, allowed them to surge up to 90 mph, 145 kilometers per hour, and hit 60 mph in just over a minute, an astonishing feat for the era. Built on a 4/6-0 wheel arrangement, the Castle Class delivered excellent grip and stability, aided by helical coil and leaf spring suspension that kept the ride smooth even on uneven tracks. Like all steam giants of its time, it relied on expert teamwork between the driver and fireman to manage the manual controls with precision. Visually, the Castle Class had an undeniable majesty. Its rich Brunswick green paint, gold trim, and royal crests gave it a stately presence that stood out on every platform. The rhythmic pulse of its side rods, the sharp echo of its whistle, and the thunder of steam release turned its every appearance into a spectacle. These locomotives ruled premier services such as the Cornish Riviera Express, carrying passengers between London and the Southwest with unmatched reliability and prestige. Today, only a handful survive, either preserved in museums or still running on heritage lines. One even served the British royal family on a tour of Canada, a fitting tribute to a locomotive class that defined elegance, engineering excellence, and national pride. And if this masterpiece impressed you, get ready. The next locomotive raises the bar even higher. LMS Coronation Class. When the London, Midland, and Scottish Railway unveiled the LMS Coronation Class in 1937, it wasn't just launching a new locomotive, it was making a bold national statement. Created to honor the coronation of King George VI and to challenge the high-speed dominance of rival LNER, the very first engine, number 6220 Coronation, represented the absolute peak of British steam innovation. Beneath its streamlined shell sat a powerful three-cylinder engine generating roughly 3,300 horsepower, fed by a 250 psi boiler that propelled the locomotive to an astounding 112 mph, 180 kilometers per hour. Even more impressively, it could rocket from 0 to 60 mph in only about 50 seconds, lightning fast for a machine of its size. The 4/6-2 Pacific wheel arrangement provided stability at speed, while rear-wheel drive and reinforced coil suspension kept the ride controlled through grades and curves. As with all top-tier steam locomotives, mastering its manual controls required skilled hands, especially at full throttle. But what really made the Coronation Class unforgettable was its look. Early models were wrapped in a dramatic blue livery, accented with sweeping silver stripes, and the full streamlined casing gave the locomotive an aerodynamic, almost futuristic appearance. It radiated prestige even when standing still. Designed for flagship services such as the London-Glasgow route, it pulled elite trains like the Coronation Scot, helping push British express travel into a new era. Only a handful remain today, yet number 6220 Coronation still holds legendary status, especially because during its very first test run, it secretly exceeded the British steam speed record. The public never got the details at the time, as LMS reportedly tried to avoid provoking the already intense rivalry with LNER. Grace, speed, and competitive fire defined this steel icon. And with the next locomotive on this list, get ready, the journey is heading across the Atlantic, where the power level climbs even higher. Built in 1950, the Norfolk and Western 611 stands as one of the final and finest steam locomotives ever constructed for daily passenger service in the United States. Crafted at the Norfolk and Western's own Roanoke shops in Virginia, the 611 belongs to the famed Class J, a series regarded as the pinnacle of American steam design. It flawlessly blended futuristic styling with brute mechanical force, earning a reputation as one of the greatest steam locomotives ever to touch the rails. Under its smooth, aerodynamic casing roared a high-efficiency engine powered by a 300 psi boiler, delivering more than 5,100 horsepower. The 611 could surge past 110 mph, 180 km per hour, and blast from 0 to 60 mph in under 45 seconds, astonishing numbers for a machine weighing over 485,000 pounds. Its 4/8-4 wheel arrangement, massive drivers, and sturdy frame gave it exceptional grip and stability at high speeds. Rear-wheel drive and heavy-duty suspension made it ideal for long, fast passenger runs. Of course, mastering its manual controls required genuine expertise, especially when climbing grades or hammering along at full power. Visually, the 611 was unforgettable. Draped in glossy jet black with red and gold striping and fitted with a sleek enclosed pilot, it looked more like a spacecraft than a steam engine. And when it roared to life, the sound was pure theater, deep thunder paired with a sharp, echoing whistle that could be heard for miles. The locomotive served high-profile routes between Norfolk, Virginia and Cincinnati, Ohio, carrying NW's premier passenger trains long after most railroads had abandoned steam. Through sheer performance and reliability, it extended the age of steam almost single-handedly. And the best part is that it's still running today. After retiring and undergoing multiple restorations, the 611 continues to operate in excursion service, making it one of the few fully functional mainline-capable steam locomotives left in the United States. In one 1984 test run, it accelerated so fiercely that engineers had to recalibrate the onboard sensors because no one expected a steam locomotive to achieve those speeds anymore. If seeing a 1950 Steam Titan still dominating the rails amazes you, hold on tight. The next locomotive pushes rarity and speed to a different level altogether. Built in 1936 by the Budapest-based manufacturer Mavag, the MAV 242.01 stands as one of the rarest steam locomotives ever created, because only one was ever built. Intended as a high-speed prototype for Hungary's national railway, it was engineered to dominate the country's fastest express routes. Beneath its sleek blue and white streamlined shell ran a two-cylinder steam engine operating at 275 psi, producing roughly 2,300 horsepower. That power pushed the lightweight locomotive to 94 mph, 152 km per hour, an impressive achievement for a machine weighing under 100 tons. Designed to handle Hungary's winding, hilly main lines, it featured a distinctive 4/4/4 wheel configuration, relying on just 4 driving wheels and no trailing wheels. This unusual layout demanded careful balancing and expert manual control, especially during fast curves or aggressive throttle changes. Visually, it was nothing short of stunning. Smooth curves, an aerodynamic cab set back from the nose, and a vivid royal blue paint scheme accented with clean white striping. In motion, the locomotive was unmistakable. The crisp hiss of its exhaust and its piercing whistle made it a moving spectacle. It served key express routes between Budapest and Záhony and became a reference point for future Hungarian locomotive design. Today, the only surviving unit remains fully restored and operational at the Hungarian Railway Museum, where it still captures the admiration of rail fans worldwide. A rare video from the 1990s even shows the 242.01 charging past 75 mph, 120 km per hour, proof that this one-of-a-kind machine still carries the spirit of speed it was born with. If this rare Hungarian masterpiece amazes you, brace yourself.
The next locomotive on our list is a massive American Titan built to crush steep grades and tear through mountain ranges with raw, unmatched power.
Introduced in 1943, the Union Pacific Challenger 3985 was born to conquer some of the harshest terrain in American railroading. Built by Alco, it was engineered specifically to haul long, heavy freight trains over the steep grades of the Rocky Mountains and do it at speed. Its articulated four-cylinder steam engine, fed by a 280 psi boiler, delivered more than 6,000 horsepower, pushing the giant locomotive to 70 miles per hour, 112 kilometers per hour, despite its massive weight. Acceleration was equally impressive, 0 to 60 miles per hour in roughly 80 seconds. Its strength came from its 4-6-6-4 wheel configuration, using two sets of 6 driving wheels that pivoted independently, allowing this enormous machine to twist through mountain curves with surprising agility. Heavy-duty suspension and full-length traction gave it the stamina to perform in brutal conditions. Operating it was a full crew affair, typically 2 or 3 skilled workers, managing steam pressure, braking, firing, and water supply in flawless coordination. At more than 120 feet long and tipping the scales at nearly 620,000 pounds, the Challenger wasn't just a locomotive, it was a rolling fortress of steel. Its black finish, towering boiler, and dual headlights gave it the presence of a mechanical titan charging through the landscape. The thunderous rhythm of its pistons echoed for miles, leaving no doubt that raw power was passing through. Originally assigned to heavy freight duty across Wyoming, Utah, and Nebraska, the 3985 quickly became one of Union Pacific's most respected and capable locomotives. But its true legend began decades later. Restored in 1981, the 3985 returned to service as the largest operational steam locomotive in the world, embarking on national tours and starring in major historical events. One highlight came in 1990, when it hauled an enormous 30-car excursion train across 5 states, a spectacle broadcast nationwide that cemented the 3985's place in American rail history. The EMD DDA40X wasn't just another locomotive, it was the undisputed emperor of diesel power. Built in 1969 by EMD to honor the 100th anniversary of the Golden Spike ceremony, it marked the moment with the biggest, boldest machine ever to ride American rails. Known as the Centennial, it still holds the title of the most powerful single-unit diesel-electric locomotive ever built. Not a pair of engines coupled together, but one colossal machine on a single frame, stretching an unbelievable 98 feet, earning it the nickname King of the Rails. Inside this steel giant lived 2 16-cylinder diesel engines, each pumping out 3,300 horsepower for a combined 6,600 horsepower, a staggering amount of force for its time. And thanks to this twin-engine setup, the locomotive could keep running even if one engine went down. Designed for high-speed freight, the DDA40X could haul enormous loads at speeds up to 90 miles per hour, a remarkable achievement for heavy freight movement in that era. Yet for all its skill and strength, the Centennial's reign didn't last long. Only Union Pacific ever purchased them, and just 47 units were produced. The reason? The locomotive's sheer size and complexity worked against it. At nearly 100 feet long, it was tough on track infrastructure. And with 2 engines packed into one frame, maintenance became a double challenge. By the mid-1980s, the DDA40X had been phased out in favor of smaller, more efficient, easier-to-service units. Today, just 13 survive, including one fully operational example standing as a towering reminder of a bold era when the guiding philosophy was simple: if you can build it bigger, do it. DR18201. If one steam locomotive deserves to be called the final masterpiece of German steam engineering, it's the DR18201. Built in 1961 in East Germany, it was created by combining parts from older locomotives into one powerful high-speed machine. And it worked so well, in fact, that the 18201 still holds a world title no other steam engine has beaten. Powered by a 3-cylinder engine and a high-pressure 290 psi boiler, the locomotive produced about 2,700 horsepower, but its true claim to fame was speed. In testing, it reached 113 miles per hour, 182 kilometers per hour, making it the fastest operational steam locomotive in the world, a record that still stands. Its 4.62 wheel layout featured huge 7.5-foot, 2.3 meters driving wheels designed for stability at high speed. With reinforced suspension and a sleek, stretched body painted deep red with black detailing, the 18201 looked just as fast as it ran. Originally meant only for testing, it performed so well that it began pulling special passenger trains across East Germany. After reunification, it was restored again and continued running at events, becoming a symbol of German steam engineering well into the modern era. Here's a fun detail. During one commemorative run, the 18201 hit over 105 miles per hour on a public railway with passengers on board. Even modern train operators were shocked at how smooth and stable it felt. The DR 18201 proved the steam era didn't fade away quietly. It went out with style and power, and if you think this machine was wild, wait until the next locomotive, a fire-breathing steam monster known as the Red Devil. South African Railways Class 26, the Red Devil. In 1981, South Africa surprised the world by upgrading an old steam engine into one of the most powerful and efficient steam locomotives ever, the Class 26 Red Devil. Built by engineer David Warddale, it was meant to prove that steam power still had life left in it. The Red Devil came from a rebuilt Class 25 NC and produced about 4,000 horsepower with 250 psi of boiler pressure. It could reach 96 miles per hour, 155 kilometers per hour, and go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 50 seconds, which was extremely fast for a steam locomotive. Its 4.84 wheel layout gave it great traction, and Warddale added many upgrades to improve efficiency, power, and reliability. It also had a bold look, bright red paint, black trim, and a loud, jet-like exhaust that shot tall plumes of steam into the air. The Red Devil mainly ran long-distance routes around Kimberley and proved it could haul heavy loads while using less coal and water than older engines. On one test run, it traveled 435 miles, 700 kilometers in a single day, keeping speeds over 60 miles per hour for hours. In the end, the Red Devil showed how far steam could go with modern engineering. Today, it's preserved in South Africa and remains one of the most impressive steam locomotives ever built. The Union Pacific Big Boy is one of the most famous locomotives ever built, and for good reason. Created between 1941 and 1944 to handle the tough climbs of the Rocky Mountains, it was designed on a massive scale. With a 4.884 wheel layout, a 300 psi boiler, and roughly 6,300 horsepower, it could pull over 3,000 tons of freight and still reach 80 miles per hour. At 132 feet long and over 1.2 million pounds, the Big Boy was a rolling giant, using an articulated frame to handle tight curves and rugged terrain. Its thunderous steam blasts, booming rods, and deep whistle made it one of the most unforgettable machines in American rail history. Only 25 Big Boys were built, working mainly between Ogden, Utah, and Cheyenne, Wyoming, some of the toughest routes in the country. Most were retired in the 1950s, but the legend lived on. In 2019, Union Pacific restored Big Boy 4014, bringing the world's largest operating steam locomotive back to life. It now tours the United States, drawing huge crowds wherever it goes. And the name Big Boy? It came from a worker who scribbled it on the first locomotive during assembly, an offhand moment that became part of railroading legend. The LNR Class A44468 Mallard is one of the most legendary steam locomotives ever built, On July 3, 1938, it set a world record that still stands today at an incredible 126 miles per hour, making it the fastest steam locomotive in history. Designed by Sir Nigel Gresley, the Mallard combined a powerful 3-cylinder engine, a 250 psi boiler, and a sleek 4/6/2 Pacific wheel layout. Its advanced exhaust system and reinforced suspension helped it accelerate quickly and stay stable at extreme speeds. The locomotive's iconic streamlined, bright blue design wasn't just for looks. It reduced drag and helped the Mallard slice through the air like a bullet. The Mallard served premier passenger services between London and Edinburgh, offering both speed and elegance during Britain's golden age of steam. Today it's proudly preserved at the National Railway Museum in York, where it remains one of the most celebrated locomotives in the world. Even after nearly 89 years, its speed record remains untouched, and many engineers believe it could have gone even faster with better track conditions. The Mallard didn't just break a record, it defined the peak of steam-powered performance. While the LNER gets most of the spotlight, many rail experts argue that the true heavyweight champion of steam was the Allegheny H8, built for the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. These locomotives weren't designed for speed, they were built for pure, overwhelming pulling power. Their job was to drag unbelievably heavy coal trains out of the steep valleys of the Allegheny Mountains, a task that demanded extreme tractive effort. Weighing over 1.2 million pounds with the tender, the H8 is often considered the heaviest steam locomotive ever built. Its massive firebox and huge grates fed enough fuel to produce an astounding 7,500 horsepower, far surpassing even the legendary Big Boy. Despite its incredible strength, Allegheny's reign was short-lived. The locomotives were so heavy that they damaged the very tracks they operated on, causing costly maintenance issues for the railroad. At the same time, diesel locomotives were emerging as a cheaper, cleaner, and more efficient alternative. As a result, only 60 units were produced, and all were retired and scrapped by 1956, long before their true potential could be fully realized. Today, just 2 survivors remain, quiet monuments to a machine that may have been too powerful for its own time. If the Allegheny H8 was the peak of steam power and refinement, the next locomotive takes things to a whole different level. Imagine a machine so enormous it couldn't even handle standard railroad curbs, a steam giant unlike anything before or after it. That monster was the PRR S1, also known as the Big Engine, and it truly redefined what massive meant in railroading. Unveiled in 1939, the S1 was an experimental passenger steam locomotive built by the Pennsylvania Railroad, stretching an astonishing 140 feet and weighing over 1.3 million pounds. It was the largest passenger steam locomotive ever constructed. Designed with sleek Art Deco styling by Raymond Loewy, it looked futuristic and elegant, but it was far more than a display piece. Powered by a 4-cylinder steam engine running at 300 psi, the S1 produced roughly 6,500 horsepower, enough to push long express trains past 100 miles per hour with ease. Its rare 6-4-4-6 wheel layout was unique in the history of steam, built to combine freight-like muscle with high-speed passenger performance, and it worked, at least in theory. The problem? The S1 was simply too big. Its huge, rigid frame struggled with curves on most rail lines, limiting where it could operate. As a result, only one was ever built. Still, it became a star attraction at the 1939 New York World's Fair, where crowds marveled at its sleek silver body and spaceship-like profile. Though its career was short, the S1 left a lasting legacy of bold engineering. And according to long-standing rumors, early test runs may have pushed it beyond 120 miles per hour, which if true, would make it the fastest American steam locomotive in history. Whether fact or legend, the PRR S1 remains one of the most extreme and unforgettable steam engines ever created.